Hi guys. So I'm going to do a quick run through. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm going to say 20 because I put one in here twice by accident. 20 dishes that are either one pot or if you have to make a rice or a noodle on the side. Okay. These are just for inspiration to get your gears moving in the right direction on how to make cheap, fast meals with minimal effort and or mess. Pork loin and rice, homemade chili. The leftovers from that homemade chili can roll into chili macaroni and cheese the next day, or chili mac. Hamburger helper, or homemade hamburger helper, let me say that. Not the box kind, anybody can do that. Homemade hamburger helper, sorry. Meat and potatoes using sausage from Hillshire, the smoked sausage from Hillshire Farms comes in those little loops. Potatoes and onions. Shepherd's pie is a little complicated, but it's very good. It's hearty and it's a one dish meal. And it has multiple vegetables in it if you want. Pot roast. If you buy pork bottom and or a large pork loin, if you can find one at this point in time, you can make a pork roast with potatoes, carrots, onions, mushrooms, whatever. The rest of that pork roast, before you freeze it, cut it in half. The next time you want something different, I wouldn't necessarily say the same day, but if you want to eat pork back to back, that's up to you. I don't care either way. It doesn't bother me. But then the next time, that roast would be good for, you put it in the crock pot overnight on medium. I put mine on medium high and make pulled pork sandwiches, barbecue pulled pork sandwiches. So out of one roast, they're normally 2.5 to 3 pounds. You can get them a little larger. Cut that in half before you freeze it. Put half in the freezer for later. Put half in the crock pot. And you can either make a pork roast or a pulled pork barbecued batch to have sandwiches with for dinner one night. Chips. I feel like that I complicated that by accident. I didn't mean to. Chicken and rice casserole. That's a real easy one. There's lots and lots of variations on Pinterest or allrecipes.com. We use that one a lot. Tuna casserole. Super simple. It's literally tuna. Get a mixed bag of peas and carrots. 2 cans of mushroom soup and rice. Salt, pepper, whatever other seasons you want to eat. I throw a lot of garlic in mine. Mush it all together. Al dente your noodles. Throw your noodles in there. Throw some cheese on it. Throw it in the oven. You're done. I do chips on the side instead of on top, but that's personal preference. Beef stroganoff. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. It's super easy. You get some very thinly sliced, whatever kind of beef you can get at this point in time. I normally get thin sliced top sirloin. Comes in 3 or 4 in a pack. They're real thin. Cut that up into little strips and then cut them sideways, or in half again. Cook that with onion. Let that all cook together. Drain whatever juice comes off, or not. You don't have to. I don't drain all of it because you want some of that seasoned water from that to get in and make some of the flavoring of the stroganoff. And then you add mushroom soup, cream cheese, stir all that, get it all melted in good together, and you serve that over rice or noodles, and then add a little dollop of sour cream on top, and that's really what caps off the whole stroganoff vibe. That's how we make ours, and it's really, really good. And it is freezer friendly and refrigerator friendly. I need to end that with saying, always add your sour cream after. Don't add it and then try to recook it. That's a very important thing. Loaded tater tots. If y'all have ever eaten them at Hooters, they're really easy to make at home. You literally can buy cans of cheese that will melt over the tots, and then you add whatever toppings you want. Sour cream, jalapenos, chives, shredded chicken. I mean, we've done them tons of different ways, and they're excellent. And they're filling, and it's a fun type dinner. Let's see. A low country boil with shrimp opposed to crab meat or crawfish, just for ease of use. Let's see. Beanie weenies and rice. That'll go into a more definition later. I'm actually going to cook that this week, so I'll record that. Vegetable soup is very good. It's a great option you can use with a variety of meats or without meat at all. It's about the only vegetarian option I have because I do use beef bouillon. But you don't have to use beef bouillon. You could use veggie bouillon. Hearty chicken noodle soup. And when I say hearty chicken noodle soup, instead of using just broth, I add cream of chicken to it, cream of celery, and it makes the soup base thicker. And then as you add your noodles and your shredded chicken, you know, it just becomes a more hearty base, and you can put some potatoes in there and some carrots. Steak tips over rice is always a good option. It's basically the beginnings of stroganoff with all the stuff in the middle. A little onion with them. Let's see. Now, what we do to stretch some things, I say I'll make a big batch of steak tips. I'll put some of that meat aside, and then the next day or the next night we'll have a big hearty salad with the steak tip meat on it or with it or in it, and that'll make my next dinner. And then lettuce and tomato and onion left over from the salad. The next night we'll have hamburgers and then use that on our hamburgers, and it stretches that salad out. That way it doesn't go bad sitting in the refrigerator. I don't know about y'all. I don't just go grab a salad. My husband does. I do not. Neither do any of my children. Which is bad on my part, I know. But gosh, I hate lettuce. I hate it. It's the devil. Let's see. Oh, and then burgers, which that was the end of it. So, 20 different meals with lots of different variations. Pork, loin, and rice, chili mac, homemade hamburger helper, meat and potatoes, shepherd's pie, tomato noodle soup. I think I left this one out. Tomato noodle soup is exactly what it sounds like. It is literal cans of tomatoes opened, cooked with onions, bouillon, salt and pepper, parsley, and then you add a little rice to it, and it's a really easy and extremely tasty soup. A little tarragon in there. It's very, very good. My grandmother made, that's a comfort food from my childhood. All right, so then pork roast, barbecue, pulled pork barbecue, chicken bake. I can tell you how to stretch your chicken breast also. Tuna casserole, stroganoff, loaded tots, low country broil, side variation of just shrimp because everything else is hard to find right now. Beanie weenies and rice, family favorite. Vegetable soup with or without meat. And it could be any meat. It doesn't have to be a particular kind. The next batch I'm going to make is going to have ham in it. Hearty chicken noodle soup. Steak tips over rice. Leftover steak over salad. Or you can use leftover chicken. So say you make those tots and you use boiled shredded chicken just to give some protein to the tater tot meal. You take some of that shredded chicken, and when you can make chicken salad sandwiches, or you can put that chicken also in a salad. And then the salad fixins can be used on your hamburgers one night. Something easy to make. It's not necessarily a one-dish meal, but it's a variation of how to roll your one dish into another. That way, you're still stretching your dollar. I'm going to post this on Facebook. Now, under the post, which I might link this, I don't know if I can do that. I'll see. I'd like to link this video to the post that I made on Facebook. That way everybody has access to the comments. Because Christy Byers and May and Kristen all started sharing recipes. I do desserts differently. And I don't know a lot of people that would eat what I eat. I haven't found very many people outside my family that have similar palate to me. So it's just a long story. Anyway, it's just, I'm going to say it's an Alabama thing because a lot of my cooking comes from Alabama. But now the pork loin and rice, or pork chops and rice is what we call it. I actually got that recipe, and it is Adrian's absolute favorite recipe, and he makes it several times a month, and like we'll eat on it for days, and I mean days, till it's gone. I got that recipe from my dad's wife, probably about 15 years ago, and that is Adrian's meal, like, hands down. If it's not tomato soup and grilled cheese, that's Adrian's meal. I can go into more definition or more explanation, or even the showing of how I'm cooking these separately. Or, if you would like, I can take, I could chop this into 4 and explain each meal with substitutes and, ingredients, and break it down that way. Because some of these are different for people. Some people have never heard of what I'm talking about, and I understand that. So, if you want a better explanation, I am not a cook, chef person that does recipes. Literally, most of my stuff is in my head. I can sit down and map this out for you, and break it down step by step, ingredient variations, everything's going to be based on your family and your family's dietary needs. If y'all are a vegetarian family, I deeply apologize. But say if, milk restriction or lactose restriction, celiac disease, gluten intolerance, like, there are ways to get around a lot of that now. So, well, I say that and then realize the current situation we're in. But you understand what I'm saying. I'd like to have a dessert, cookies, cakes, pastries, pies type deal to go with this, because there are a lot of cheap alternatives. And in the apocalypse and situation we're in now, this is not the apocalypse. Don't take that seriously. In harder times, let me say that, where things are hard to come by, rationed, whatever, you don't always want to eat the same thing all the time, and a sweet treat uplifts the spirits. And I'm not saying that because I'm a chubby girl. I'm saying that because I'm a real girl. So, I'm just saying, you want to break the monotony sometimes and just eat a damn Twinkie or a moon pie. Or we have foo-foos at this house because I have been raised on a budget. And foo-foos are a very interesting concept that a lot of people think I'm crazy till they eat one. And my mother named them foo-foos. It involves a marshmallow. Let's just leave it at that. But I am open to any and all suggestions. I want to try and link this video into the post that started this gravy train, pun intended. That way all the comments can get shared, because a couple of girls have shared recipes in the comments, and those are very vital to what we're doing. And they're easy peasy, just like what these are. Some of them sound a little bit more complicated, and I think the most complicated on here is maybe the shepherd's pie and maybe the vegetable soup. Seriously. The rest of them are easy peasy, and once you make the shepherd's pie once and you get addicted to it, it's gonna get locked up there. And I actually have that one written down because I stole it from my mother. And I don't know who she stole it from, but I'm eternally grateful because it's a family favorite too. Most of these are. I think my husband only dislikes 2 things on here, and I just make those on the nights that I know he's not here. So, no big deal. Alright, this is 15 freaking minutes. Real quick before I jump off, those big packs of breast that you buy at the store, regular, whether it be Walmart, Publix, they all seem to be running about the same size now. They're ginormous. I'm not talking about them organic chickens. I'm talking about the non-organic chickens. If you're organic, then don't listen to this. You can get one of those chicken breasts and split it in 2s. And that will, so if you can only find a 4-pack right now, but they're the giant ones, take them out of the package, cut each breast in half. That'll give you 4 chicken breasts to work with, to stretch out. Add a noodle or some rice or some extra vegetables to your dinner, and you can, it's like you're not missing the meat. So I can also do variations and information on that. I know this is not the normal of what I post, but right now, normal times are gone. Hopefully they'll be back soon. So, we're going to adapt to this situation together, and we're going to pull through. Male, female, I don't care. Everybody is going to have to learn how to cook at some point right now, or at least in my house they are. So, for all you out there struggling and need to stretch a little bit, this is where it starts. I hope I find you well. Have a good night.